Welcome to the Nagual Zone. My name is Anaam. I want to talk about the two kinds of realities that exist and have existed in this world for a very long time. I call them, you can call them whatever you like, but I call them the really real and the fictional real. These are the two realities that exist. Allow me to explain to you what I mean. The really real versus the fictional real. The average man, their entire existence from birth to death is lived out in the fictional real. The Toltec, with the aid of his benefactor, her benefactor, she starts to realize over time that there's a huge separation between the fictional real and the really real. The really real is what in Castaneda's time was called non-ordinary reality, because that's in the really real is where all the magic is. In the fictional real, you have sleight of hand. So the word magic, right, it has two meanings. One is sleight of hand, magic trick, card magic, right, magic trick. And then there's another magic which in Western English is M-A-G-I-C-K, magic, or the occult. You will not find the occult or actual magic, real magic, in the fictionally real. In the fictional real, you'll find fantasies. And by God, those fantasies to the average man, because of the average man's incredible indoctrination over so many years, over a lifetime and many lifetimes, those fantasies the mind conjures up are incredible, and the average man dies believing that there was something real about them, never realizing that it was all sleight of hand played by the machine mind to their perception. Sleight of hand. The average man thinks that that is magic, the occult. The real magic, everyday magic as I call it, happens in the really real. Now, what are some examples of the fictional real which dominates your life? You are steeped in it, you are saturated with it. Every part of you that you think is you, every part, every single part, is based strategically by the predator in the fictional real. For example, Latin America. Latin America. Do you know how big that landmass is? It's humongous. The entire thing is called Latin America. So you have the really real, which is land. Then you have the fictional real, which is Latin America. The predator it literally weaves a web of illusions which lead to self-delusions. And the average man thinks that he or she lives in reality. But what it is that they are plugged squarely into the fictionally real. I am an American. Fictionally real. You are bowing the knee, you're paying homage, you're paying allegiance to a fictional reality. Do you know that countries don't exist? There's nothing called a country. In the really real, you have land, you have trees, you have rocks, you have rivers, you have mountains. Whenever you see a map, you're looking at an incredible sleight of hand trick. Do you know who invented maps? I'll leave you to ponder that one. It's a very easy answer. the predator has used a certain racial type, the Anglo-Saxon genetics and its associated genetics, to weave this fictionally real into everyone's life. There's a word for it that the predator uses. It's called education. The history, his story that you learn in school that you think has happened is merely the fictionally real that is narrated to you relentlessly by those who have won the war. Those who have been victorious, they write history. History has got, as you know it, has got nothing to do with the really real. I'm an American. I live in America. I vote for Trump or this one or that one or Superman or Batman or Spider-Man. It's all the same. It's fictional reality. Fictional reality is so strong that you have an entire continent, Latin America. Do you know how big Brazil is? These people are named Portuguese names. They speak Portuguese. That's how powerful the fictional real is. The fictional real is what defeated the native tribes and continues to defeat all the native tribes of the entire world, from down to Australia. What the fuck is an Australia? What the hell is an Australia? You tell me. There's land there. There's the indigenous people who live there. What the hell is an Australia? What is a New Zealand? What the hell is a Malaysia? Malaysia. What is a Malaysia? You see, the fictional can easily manipulate the mind if used correctly through education to dominate your perception, so that you never end up knowing that there was another reality which was the really real. It's a very simple, beautiful reality. Non-ordinary reality is very beautiful, very simple. There's no stress in that reality. There's only adventure and curiosity. Because all the processing power that your mind requires to process fictional reality constantly in your head, relentlessly repeating itself to you, is not needed. I just gave you the secret to the infinite energy that a Toltec warrior has all the time. Because the warrior is clean. It's so many apps are not taking up processing power in the warrior's head. You see what I mean? It's a new computer, in a manner of speaking. The warrior is squarely plugged in, if you want to call it that, or squarely inhabits the really real. In fact, the only thing that exists for the warrior is the really real. There's this moment, there's land, there's things around me, right? The average man exists squarely in the fictional real. Here's another example. You own a pet. Do you see what I did there? If you were honest, your mind took that as a real statement, a statement of reality that you own a pet. Tell me what's wrong with that statement. Write it in the comments below. I'll leave you with that one. Here's another one. I get a dog, and now that dog has a name. How the hell do animals have names? You tell me. Forcibly taking the really real and humanizing it. Because the only world that you know is the fictional real. You don't emotionally, and in your deep, honest self, you don't know anything else. So don't kid yourself. Don't watch this video and go, oh yeah, I always lived in the real. No, you didn't. No, you didn't. You don't even know how to do that. So the point is, get honest and bring awareness from now on into your life and see every moment of every day. See, watch your behavior. A family. It's a complete fiction. Your name. Do you think you are your name? You ask a million people and everyone will nod very sagely, very wisely, with great wisdom. No, I am not my name. But every single one, without exception, behaves in their life completely convinced that their name is real. They will take on the stresses, they will take on the identity, everything, but not very sagely. Ah, yes, we are not our name. Yes. Nonsense, right? So this video, I want to bring to you the awareness that not only is there two kinds of realities, ordinary reality, which is a sleight of hand, trick the predator has played on you, and non-ordinary reality, which is where sorcery happens. And most of all, I want you to really get gut honest and see that your allegiance really, when it really comes down to the wire, you bow the knee to fictional reality because that's all you know. Really, that's all you know. There are ways to start separating your system, unplugging yourself from fictional reality into the really real. Those ways my apprentices learn rigorously. And they're very simple ways. I've indicated those ways in these videos many times. And it takes a lot of relentlessness, unbending intent to extricate yourself from the clutches, the smoke screen, the spider web of fictional reality. Everything you think about you is fictional. Everything. Every single thing. In the really real, you have a body that doesn't even know that it's alive or dead, because alive or dead are just ideas in your head, part of the fictional real. Your body doesn't know whether it's alive or dead. Just like your dog or your cat, thankfully, doesn't know, they don't know that they have a name. They hear a familiar sound and they are rigorously trained like slaves to react according to your entertainment to that sound. Sit, give me your handshake. Ooh, everyone's laughing. Ooh, what a good performing dog. Complete hubris, nonsense, raping of a being's spirit. You wouldn't want that done to you, but you're more than willing and happy to do that to something else, to someone else. You behave exactly the same way towards your loved ones. Just like you behave towards your dog, want to train them and expect them to obey you, obey your every whim and fancy, and when they don't, you throw a tantrum. You get all stroppy because people don't conform to your expectations. These are all the insanities produced when an infinite, powerful being, beautiful being, is rigorously enslaved into a sleight of hand, cheap trick. And they spend their life living a fiction. What do you think's gonna, you take an infinite being, beautiful, powerful being, like you, and you subject that being rigorously to the amount, the kind of mind control that would shake you to the bones, what do you think is going to happen to the sanity of that being? They will behave like this. They will behave as if they own a pet. See this house I live in? I live in the house. I inhabit this house. It's a house. It's got walls, doors, taps. Really real. The fictional reality is that someone owns this house. When this when this sleight of hand was introduced to the native peoples worldwide, they literally couldn't understand it. It boggled them so much, and their inability to see through the sleight of hand, how the predator has used it to its benefit, has brought them where they are now. As soon as you start being aware of the things in your life that belong to the fictional real versus the real, really real, you can start to extricate yourself, because the awareness of it will make changes. It will awaken your conscience. First of all, towards yourself, your dignity as a infinite being, your self-respect. It hopefully will motivate you towards freedom. Hopefully. For most, it's a lovely exercise in nodding one's head and, yeah, Anaam's really right. Wow, his videos reveal so much. He's so wise. Blah, 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 blah. That's it. End of story. On to the next entertainment. There's a nice Netflix on later on. Ooh, yeah. I'll stuff my gob with cake and chocolate and watch my Netflix and never have to worry about coming out of my little bubble of conformity. Wear my mask outside and all is well. The Toltec warrior, on the other hand, as my apprentices are doing, they're finding out that freedom costs the sweat of your brow and the blood and marrow in your bones. And I have to lead my apprentices in down safe paths, but using a lot of every tool in the toolbox, cajoling, trickery, incentives, rewards, give them something to be inspired. I use every trick in the book to get them to pay the price for their freedom by the sweat of their brow and the blood and marrow of their bones, because that's what it takes. Watch my video called What Does It Take? It's a very, very early video I did. Find it out and watch it. I don't know where it is now. Won't put the link up. Watch it. There's a price for freedom, and it ain't fantasies. Paying the relevant price in ever-increasing, entertaining fantasies that you're getting free is not going to cut it, because you still remain the same fucked up person. To unfuck yourself from the sleight of hand trick that's being played upon you, it takes a lot of bravery, courage, a lot of courage. The kind of courage most people don't have. Coupled with that, you have the demands and instincts of the demands and subscriptions of the mating instinct. You have a problem. How are you going to extricate yourself towards the really real when you got kids to look after? You got a wife to keep happy. Or vice versa. You have expectations of fictionality weighing you down. How are you going to free yourself? It takes a lot of courage. And it takes benefactors who really know what they're doing, who know the ins and outs of the swampland and can take you through the safe paths. It really does take that. Watch another video of mine called The DIY Toltec Myth. So this video, I want to introduce to you these two realities, which everyone knows is true. We all know this in the heart of hearts. There is a matrix reality, a false sleight of hand magic trick being played upon you, scamdemic and masks and viruses. If you really started researching viruses, you would come across something called germ theory. Germ theory. Theory of gravity. Theory of evolution. Here's another little pro tip if you want to really get down the rabbit hole. Get a book called Forbidden Archaeology by a professor who's the late great, he's passed away now, Mr. Michael Cremo. I could give you 1,000 portals, and I'm not even exaggerating, into the really real. But you have to systematically dismantle, and it takes a long time, and you have to go very, very deep within you. Very deep. And you have to learn to become pragmatic and sober, which means fantasies aren't it. Fantasizing some strange, LSD is not going to give anything to you. Any of these mind-altering drugs and trips, and none of this is going to give DMT, nothing. It'll give you fantasies which you will think are I know what Anaam's talking about because I took DMT and the really real, I lived in it for whatever, one whole night. Sorry, nope. You got, there's sleight of hand and then there's sleight of hand. You, my friend, sorry, that's, you don't even know it, but there's foolery and then there's real foolishness. You just indulged in amazing fantasies conjured up by the machine mind for you, for your entertainment. And now you have a personal history, a narrative that you can give yourself that says, oh yes, I've done all these trips and LSD and I don't even know half the names of these drugs white people come up with. This and that. And just walking around thinking they're some kind of big shot now because, or they have some kind of access to the really real. The really real is accessed through presence. You're better off training in Zen for 20 odd years than take one trip of LSD, which fucks up your perception even more. Yeah, you can come up and in the comments and give grand stories of your experiences. It's all bollocks, all bullshit. Complete bullshit. It didn't unfuck you a single bit. You got sleight of handed. You got played upon royally. And you're now proud of that. That's become part of your personal history. You define yourself with such sleight of hands. Oh yes, back in the 70s, this happened to me, and I met my double and my triple, and you got played by the Matrix, mate. What the hell are you on? Get real, get sober, get pragmatic. Magic is in the falling leaf in autumn. Watch it falling. Don't trip out, watch it, be with it. That's the really real. Watch it, how long it lasts. Watch it. Hear the wind in the trees, not when you're talked out of your head, when you're actually sober. Learn. Having a joint and thinking you're some kind of really real big shot is not going to cut it. Ridiculous. So, let me know what you think and give me examples of the fictional real. Give me loads of examples. Let's see how much dirt you can dig up on this sleight of hand that has been played upon you systematically, on your parents, on your grandparents, on your ancestors, going back quite a few thousand years. So we have the digital, which now is the new sleight of hand, the digital world. Let me know. Give me some examples of how the digital is part of the updated fictional real. The digital's got nothing to do with the really real. Let me know. Let's explore it together in the comments. I'd welcome your comments on this. Walk in freedom. Thank you for watching. We'll see you in the next video. Bye for now.